Oh, did the chicken come before the egg or was it the other way around? Sometimes that's how we think about confidence. Like, do we have confidence first, then we take action, or do we take action and then confidence comes? Well, guess what? We're going to get into it and talk all about confidence, in particular, having confidence as an entrepreneur. And our guest today is hanging out with us, Clarissa Law. She is a life coach. She's with us in the virtual studio, and we're going to get right into it right after this quick intro. Don't you move.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. Thank you for all those that are watching live from Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn. Certainly those that are checking this out on Sharvette.com and those that are listening later. I like to say, like now or later. Y'all still eat that candy? All right, let me know in the comments. If you're listening later on Blog Talk Radio or all of the various podcast stations, we are excited to have you listening in to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. The goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence, and we're going to do that today. This segment is brought to you by my Platform Builder program. We are open for enrollment June 2022 through May 2023. It's a 12-month program. You're going to get to hear more about it later on in this segment, but you can jump over to platformbuilder.biz and find out more information. Platformbuilder.biz, find out more details all about that. Welcome to all those that we see coming on in. Thank you so much for being here and shouting us out. Thank you. She said I look beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, Mom, thank you for being here and hanging out with us on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, and all of the rest of you that are here and coming on in, because we know all of the platforms are building up and sending out messages saying, we're live, come watch. We're on air, come watch. And so that's no problem. We know that you are coming on in. So let me share a little bit about our guest. She's ready to come up to the mic and share with us today. Again, we're going to be talking about having confidence as an entrepreneur. And so Clarissa Law is with us. She is an author, a life coach. She is a certified workshop facilitator. She's a public speaker. She's also the CEO of Purposed by Design Coaching and Consulting, LLC. She provides one-on-one coaching, group coaching. She also does public speaking in various workshops. She founded a nonprofit called Lifelines to Success, which is a 501c3, where she provides enrichment programs and services to the community. And she's here today to talk to us about having confidence as an entrepreneur. Coming up to the mic without further ado, put your hands together for Clarissa. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Hey, girl. Hey. Thank
Hey,
you.
girl. Hey. Okay. So I have to say, anyone that's kind of maybe looked at some of my videos, and actually there's a video I'm going to play later during the commercial break, and you make a guest appearance in there. So thank you for being one of our models and in our commercial video.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I know you had a busy weekend, had some great things that happened on the weekend, over the weekend. Tell our listeners all about it.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna make me cry.
Oh, okay. It's too early to cry.
No, it's okay. I'm just super excited. My youngest son, he is 30 and he graduated from Virginia State with his master's in counselor education. So he is officially a school counselor and has a job for the fall.
Oh, right. That is awesome.
So I'm excited for him. I'm really excited for him.
And kudos to you, because that kind of like opens up, when I kind of was perusing your social media, that opens up kind of where I want to start with our interview around how you were actually a teen mom. And so I'd love for you to talk about, we see all the grand things now, but I'd love for you to talk about how that shaped your life and really your thoughts, around purpose.
So let me first start by saying he's my youngest. My oldest is 37. And just really briefly, I grew up in a home where I just wasn't told anything. I just wasn't educated about me. I wasn't educated about my body and things like that. And unfortunately, a lot of young women are still dealing with that today. And I found myself being a teen mother at the age of 15. I grew up in New York. I grew up in the projects, is what we call them here. They call them public housing or whatever. And in 1984, the statistic was you're going to be a welfare mother with multiple children, still living in the projects. And I always had this attitude, watch me. You don't tell me what I'm going to be. And so I always strive that I would live my life like I'm from the project. I lived in the projects, but I'm not from the projects. I was always the child in my mother's home that went against the grain. Why I can't have those shoes? You're telling me I can only have these. Why can't I have those shoes? And so that's how that came to be. And I moved to Virginia to try to give him a different life versus, raising him in New York. And I'm grateful to say I just have the two children, 37 and 30. And I love both of my kids and I'm proud, and they go in their own directions. But, that's just the way things went. As far as this, like, and that took me into being a single mother and going to school myself. Right. You hear a lot of people say, oh, wait till the children get grown, wait till the children get to a certain age. And I felt like, well, I can show my children and pursue things while I'm raising my children. So I did that. And I honestly believe, because I was a college student while raising my children, my youngest son, I never had the conversation. He started preparing for college at 9 because he would be 4. Mommy, what are you doing? I'm doing homework. I want to do homework too. And because I was a single mother, I took my children to school with me. John Tyler, VCU. I was in child psychology. The professor wanted my children in there and would ask them questions. So that all worked out. Not saying it was easy, but I believe that I was an example to them to pursue what it is that you really want. And I don't know what their lives would be if I said, let me wait until they are this, right? I believe that they saw me pursuing and striving for more, and it makes them want more.
Oh, this is so good already. This is like Oprah life class right here. Y'all eating this up. Put some hearts up wherever you are watching live. I love that you said where you were is not who you were.
No.
Where I am is now who I am,
right?
Which is such a great backdrop to this kind of conversation around confidence. So, wow. And so, certainly many people you've observed or seen, maybe even had in your life where, there's traumas. And I know you are passionate around helping people and the effects of trauma on people's lives. What kind of work have you done in that space, or what is the passion around that space, around really helping people with the effects of trauma?
So I've been working in community mental health for many, many years. I taught special education for Henrico County for 4 years, but I've been working in the space of community mental health. And for those of you that don't know, there's a service called Intensive In-Home, and you work with the child. And so with working with the child, you at some point and it's in the home, so you see the dynamics of the family. And I'll never forget to this day, I had a 17-year-old. First, you have those parents that say, go fix my child. So I had this 17-year-old, and I would always take him out of the house because the house was a little chaotic. And we would have our sessions. And one day he said, I don't know why you keep talking to me. It's my mother that has the problem.
And he was 7.
He was 17.
17.
So I started observing the dynamics in the home. And over the years, I have done this, but then I started getting different trainings in trauma. And I look back on all the work that I've done, and it's just really good work, but it's just really been, for lack of a better word, a Band-Aid, because we are addressing the things that we see now, but there's this generational trauma that our Black communities don't even know that they're repeating, right? Wow. So I have gained a passion for that, in that, like, I can go and help the children to help the next generation, but it's the whole entire family that needs the help. They need to know that, yes, grandma did it that way, but it wasn't the right way. Yes, this trauma happened and they swept it under the rug, but we can open that, we can heal from that, and we cannot repeat it in the next generation. So that is where my shift has come. as I trained to become a life coach, I also do a service called mental health skill building, which is working with adults. I'm not a sit and cry type of person. Okay, it happened. Let's get up. Let's do something about it. So that's what I discovered about me as I was training to become a life coach. And so these are the tools and the skills, and then my life itself are the things that I want to share again with the Black community, who it's just been perpetuated within the Black family, and it's just been generational. It's been, this trauma, like I said, nobody wants to talk about it, but we still have to see that perpetrator at the family reunion, at the funerals, at the birthday parties. Nobody, it's like, I'm just going to have to deal because uncle or aunt, whomever is there, but nobody wants to address that. And then we look at our young people and wonder why they're getting involved in drugs, wondering why they're abandoning their families, wondering why they're going to jail. It's because we never address the underlying reason. Like these young boys, they're angry. These men, they're angry because of whatever trauma happened. So that I could talk about all day. I am currently at Liberty University getting my master's in human services counseling with a concentration on marriage and family therapy. And it is my desire to truly focus on healing trauma. And it all ties into my life coaching, my community service that I do and things like that. And so that is the next stage of my life. And like I said, I'm passionate about that. Let's not even talk about COVID and how our families have been affected by that. So it's just truly a passion of mine.
Wonderful, which is, again, these are all kind of layered conversations when we get into the topic of confidence, which we're going to talk about now. I want to greet certainly those that are popping on in. Hey, you're checking out the Sharvette Mitchell radio show. We have our guest here, Clarissa Law is with us, owner of Purposed by Design Coaching and Consulting. And our today's topic is having confidence as an entrepreneur, So listen, Sonia Keefe said, I got my tissues. She had her tissues already ready. And so certainly, you must have a heart for service. Absolutely. And trauma, Ayana hanging out over on LinkedIn, trauma is real. It's not normal. It's relative. Great work in this space. Thank you so much, Lynette, for popping in and saying hello as well. And so I went over to as we're having this conversation around having confidence as an entrepreneur, and I went over to our friends on Google to see, well, how do they define confidence? And so here's the definition from Google. But Clarissa, I want to hear your take and how you define it. So Google defines confidence as a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. Let me read that again. The definition from our friends on Google for confidence: a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. So what would you add to that? How do you define confidence?
So the same thing, but as I started this conversation and I'm tying it into what I just talked about with trauma, if we've experienced so much trauma, if we've experienced so many things in our lives, it is difficult for us to have confidence, right? So it is definitely that believing in your abilities. If I tell my personal story, I have had stuff written for years and never moved on it, because I didn't believe in my abilities. Nobody wants to hear this. Somebody else is doing it. So it's really having confidence in what you have. Somebody wants to hear what you want to do for other people. People need that. So that's what confidence is to me. It's just, I believe in what's in me, and I believe somebody else is going to believe it too. I also believe that confidence it's not going to always be perfect. But trusting yourself enough to know, I'm going to get back up. I'm gonna get back up. I'm going to do something different. And I said I was going to say this on your show, and my Fab Five sisters are going to agree with me.
They here. Listen, they in the audience.
This is confidence as an entrepreneur. stepping out there and taking these opportunities, because I went back and forth. I went back and forth with my girls, everything. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. And it's like, no, you are ready. Again, I am confident in my abilities. And so I was like, let's do it. And so it's taking those opportunities. I always have a saying, nobody's coming to knock on your door, Clarissa, to ask for your book. Nobody's coming to knock on your door to say, hey, are you a life coach? Can you help me? So confidence as an entrepreneur is putting myself out there. It's putting myself out there at whatever level I am.
Yes.
I'm at the time, and doing it scared sometimes. Doing it scared. That's what confidence is for me.
Yes. And so that's such a great point of confidence. When you see people with confidence, it does not mean that there is an absence of fear. It does not mean that fear has disappeared or dissipated. They have figured out how to keep on moving. And just like you said, for entrepreneurs in particular, because this is who we cater to, but certainly if you're not an entrepreneur, you are going to get something from this as well, that we have to step out and have to have an assurance of our own, what we bring to the table. The owner of McDonald's down the street has to have assurance that their Big Macs are going to keep selling. The Target has to have the insurance that they're going to keep selling, just as solo entrepreneurs and those that are building have to have that assurance. This is a great space, and I want to capture this comment. Hey, Dana, over on YouTube, hanging out, doing it scared. Yes, doing it scared. I love it. I love it. I love it. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, Clarissa, I want you to share 3 tips to build confidence. So for the person that is here saying, I need to increase my confidence, we're going to give you some tips after the commercial break. Thank you. So true. I'm putting myself out there, scared. This is good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For those that are popping on in, great day. Hey, Deborah, thank you for being here. All right. So I'm going to let you relax for a few moments as we go to our commercial break. But when we come back, I want you to share with the audience 3 things that'll help build confidence. But here's the other thing that I want you to talk about. I want you to talk to the person that's watching, that's viewing, that's listening, who said, you know what, at one point in life, I did have confidence, or I felt like my confidence level was higher. And now something happened, life happened, whatever, and I feel like my confidence is lower. I want you to speak to that person. So enjoy the virtual studio. It will come back and grab you. Again, you're hanging out here with the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, and we're going to our commercial break. Don't you move.
A high-achieving woman entrepreneur who is ready to ditch being invisible and unpolished, but finally ready to shine a spotlight on your expertise and services. Good news. There's a better way to increase the visibility of your personal brand and gain more customers. Let Sharvette Mitchell show you with the Platform Builder Program. The Platform Builder Program is her signature 12-month group coaching program built for female entrepreneurs and leaders who are ready to position their expertise and services with a polished visual brand. Increase visibility with speaking opportunities. Build authority with a published book, and convert more customers with content marketing. Not only do you walk away with all the juicy strategic nuggets in Sharvette's head, but with the tangible outcomes that you can see and feel. Find out more and apply at www.platformbuilder.biz.
To do
when I grow up.
When I grow up.
I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck.
I don't want to cry when paying the bills.
When I grow up.
I don't want to be turned down for a business loan.
I don't want to borrow a lot for an education.
And then not know what to do with it.
When I grow up, I don't want to be paid less.
Told I'm underqualified.
Or overqualified.
When I grow up.
When I grow up.
I want to know how to save for my future. Find a job I like.
And start my own business.
When I grow up.
I want to know how to provide for my family.
And invest in my community. And make a difference.
When I grow up.
When I grow up.
When I grow up.
When I grow up. I just want things to be different.
At Junior Achievement, we promote economic empowerment through education, but we can't do it alone.
All right, welcome back to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. We're having an amazing conversation with our guest today, Clarissa Law. Let me bring her back up to the mic into the virtual studio. All right, Clarissa, certainly getting much love in the comments. Welcome to all those that have just tuned on in. Miss Howard said, "That's my sister, always sharing great information to help others, especially young women." Want to shout out Randy, who is listening in. Hey, Randy, good evening. Thank you, Tanya, for being here as well. With us on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. And so let's help the audience relate to confidence. So what are 3 tips that you would say to help build confidence for people that maybe have some, or like, I don't have any confidence, I feel like? What's your thoughts?
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is just simply to believe that you are enough. Just believe that you are enough. Sometimes we look at other people, and I'm only telling you what I do. I don't know what anybody else does. But sometimes we can look at other people and feel like we're not enough if they're in the same vein that we're in. And so we will fall back. I have fallen back. But just believe that you are enough, and believe that what you have, there is a group of people that's waiting to hear your voice. There's a group of people waiting to hear you tell your story the way you tell your story. I can say whatever I need to say in my Clarissa voice, but then, I don't know, Mary, your voice is different. Your passion and your story is going to be different. And so there's somebody that is waiting to hear Mary's voice. Like there is a group of people waiting to hear Clarissa's voice. So that's the first thing. Know that you are enough. The second thing I would say is just don't be afraid to just do things by yourself. When I say that, I mean, stop talking to people, because the vision is not yours. The purpose is not yours. So when you talk to people, you tend to shrink back. What do you want to do that for? Nobody has done that in your family. That don't even sound right. Don't talk to people. Move in silence. Move in silence. Let them think you're not doing anything, because they will cause you to shrink back. And the other thing is really just changing the people around you, getting involved with other women that are like-minded. Getting involved. We can stay in our circle because it's what we are used to. But when you get out of that circle, and don't believe that women don't support each other. I'm saying that to somebody today, because I used to believe, and I was told, like, women don't support each other. They're this, they're catty. But I prayed and I asked God to show me, put me in the company of women who support women. And I have that. I have that in so many ways. I'm grateful I didn't stay with the same group of people. Are they still my friends? Yes, they're still my friends. But there are a certain group of people that I can pour out about my vision. And there's certain people I give snippets. And there's certain people I give nothing. So I think those things are very important. Let them think I just work every day.
That's good.
Clarissa, just go to work every day.
Shout out to Carla R. Jenkins, who just retweeted this on Twitter. I need to go back to that first thing that you said, believing that you are worthy, that you are enough. And so I'd love for those that are just watching live, I am enough. Just type, I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Just type that wherever you are watching. I am enough. And you might be typing this for somebody else to show up on the screen. You might be saying, I already feel that way, but I want you to type it on behalf of someone else who is questioning that. I think that is so powerful. And I always say, Clarissa, about confidence. And I even mentioned this on a live stream I did last Wednesday. A lot of times people kind of sit back and saying, well, I'm not as confident as Clarissa. I'm not as confident as Sharvette. So I'm not doing all the things that they're doing because I'm not as confident as them. And so we sit back thinking I'm waiting for a certain level. Look at all the I am enoughs. Thank you. So again, if you're saying you might be scared to even type it, I just want you to look. If you are here watching live, or if you're on YouTube, look at the screen. These are for you, for the person that is even scared to type it. People often think that they're waiting for a level of confidence. When I say confidence, I want you to think about confidence like a person. Confidence is on the side, like, sis, I'm waiting for you. I
right?
don't come first. You go first. And what happens when you take actions, small steps, many steps, baby steps, as you take the action, that is when the confidence comes. And so what do you think about people? Do you feel like, let me ask you this, do you feel like people are confident in every area of their lives, or do you feel like people are confident in certain areas of their life?
No, so as I am a life coach and my focus, I am the confidence coach, and that is my thought. I said it doesn't matter what level you are in life. You can be doctor, first lady, whatever it is. There's an area of your life you do not feel confident in, and so I just truly believe that there's
Yeah,
just it's
I
something,
agree.
whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's intellectually. There's something about our lives. If we just open up right now and say, name one thing in your life that you don't feel so confident in. We are all going to have something, and some people might have to stop them. Like you, okay, stop already,
Like,
right?
we got, your list is long
I
enough.
get it. I might feel that way. I just want to people who are writing "I'm enough." Sometimes you don't believe it. One day I got the thought, I am enough. I just don't know it yet. So if you
Oh,
want to
okay.
say that you are enough, you just don't know it yet. And
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
get out of your circles, as you get around different people, you'll start realizing that you are enough.
Yeah, and it's definitely an attribute that, if you're an entrepreneur, that you want to work on. It's like definitely something that you pull out and pull on, all the time. So keep in mind. And I love it. Were you a fan of Scandal, Shonda Rhimes Scandal? Did you ever
Me,
watch
no.
Scandal?
Mm-mm.
Okay, anyone, real
I'm
quick, if
not a
you watch
long-term
Scandal,
series
yeah,
person.
if you watch Scandal, the lead character,
Mhm.
oh goodness,
I
Carrie,
know
and
who
I'm
she is,
just my
Kerry
name.
Washington.
Kerry
Yes, I
Washington,
know the
thank you.
show.
She was bad to the bone. Like, she was bad. If you were a Scandal fan, she was bad to the bone, bad to the bone. Confident in a lot of different areas, but then in her love life relationship, it was kind of some questions. It was kind of some questions. So it just goes to prove, and hopefully this helps with those that are feeling like, I don't have enough confidence or I don't have as much confidence as I see other people have. That, everybody has, there's a level of confidence in a certain area, but then there's another area, that we all are working on and have to work on our confidence. So, what do you say to the person? And I talked about this before the break, who felt like, and this could be a teenager, this could be a young adult, this could be somebody at 70 years old, who felt, and look, the I am enoughs are still coming in. I love it. Olivia Pope, thank you, Sonia. It was Olivia Pope. To the person who felt like at one point in life they were confident, and then life happened. Maybe a divorce happened, even as an entrepreneur, a big contract you had, you lost it.
Mhm.
You launched something and you've done well, and then nobody signed, nobody bought. Life happened. What do you say to the person who feels like at one point they were confident and now the confidence level is not there anymore?
So again, I say this because this is what I do. I go
Mhm.
back to when it was great. Like, but remember you did this. Remember, go back to what you did. Go back to the things you have accomplished to remind yourself like you did it before, and that is who you are. That is what's in you. And you are enough. Like, just go back. I remember at your conference, La Shawanda said to
Yes.
write a brag sheet. We
Yes.
don't talk about ourselves enough because it's like, we're supposed to be humble. But when I started writing all of the things that I've done, you get a little prouder, your shoulders go up, your head go up, your chest sticking out. Like, you did that.
Uh-huh.
You did all of that. So I think it's important to just remind yourself of what you have done. And remember what we said about the definition of confidence. Confidence is knowing that it's not going to always be perfect. It's going to be some failures. And the confidence says, I failed at this. Let me get back up. I failed
Yeah.
at this. Let me maybe try it a different way.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to someone who feel like they have lost their confidence.
Yeah, so good. And writing down our brag sheet, and a great place to kind of brag on ourselves. And this is individual, like, no one has to see this, is a journal.
Mhm.
And oftentimes we talk about writing in a journal. What we do not talk about, Clarissa, is going back and reading your journal. We talk a lot about, oh, I'm journaling, I'm right. But I want you, an action item is to go back. I want you, if you had a journal from a year ago, I was reading a journal from the year before the pandemic started. And then like my last journal entry was like mid-March, right when the pandemic started, and go back and read. And so you have an actual journal that you put out. Talk a little bit about your journal.
So it's so interesting that you said that. That's how the journal came to be.
I
I am a
didn't even know that.
journaler. I am a journaler. I have journaled for years, and I watched just the progression. But anyway, in all of my journals, this is when I was that struggling single parent, raising children, going to school. And all of my journals, at the end of my entry, I would write an affirmation, a declaration, a scripture, or a prayer.
Wow.
And it was 2018 that I went in my drawer of journals and I pulled one out. And I'm reading it and I'm going, oh, look how God did that. Oh, look how he did that. Oh my God, look at that. And then some of them was, girl, you was stupid.
Right,
But
right.
it just showed me where I was and where I came to. So what I said was, Clarissa, if this worked for you, it will work for somebody else.
Yeah.
And because over the years, I've learned the power of speaking life, the power of speaking affirmations, the power of speaking the world that you want. That was a message I got in church, and I held on to it forever. You have the power to speak the world you want. And so I held on to that scripture. And when I looked at these old journals, I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for somebody else. So that's how my journal came to be. And the way God gave it to me, and this again, I'm just going to say this for people who don't trust themselves. The way God gave me this journal was Purpose by Design, Journal of Prayers and Affirmations, 52 weeks of speaking life through God's word. I spoke to about 5-6 people about, what do you think about the title? But that's, to me, my confidence is just truly trusting that this is the way it was given to me. So this is the way that it needs to be given to the world. And so that's how my journal came to be. And it's here. It's beautiful.
And that's it.
Yes.
You see, and I have a copy as well.
And God is doing so much. I need to add to my list, because since this year has started, it's just been so many things going on. I truly have what I say.
Ah, yes. And so how can people get a hold of this journal?
So you can get my journal on my website, which is ClarissaLawCoaching.com.
Great. And how can they connect with you on social media?
So on social media, I am Clarissa Y Law, and then my business page is Purpose by Design Coaching and Consulting. On Instagram is Clarissa Law, and I haven't been on all the others.
And we've tagged on Instagram. If you're following us, Sharvette, and tagged on Facebook and tagged the business page. And the quickest way is Sharvette.com. So Sharvette.com, even if you're listening to the podcast, look down below in the show notes. There are all the links for her connection points, her website, and all of that. So any of the podcasts, talk radio show, look in the show notes. If you're hanging out with us, we've tagged, and also Sharvette.com has all of the links. Shout out to Jasmine. She's saying, I have my copy. So Jasmine, thank you for being here. Thank you. I'm seeing great information. Thank you, Tanya, who's piping in, saying this was such great information. Thank you, Ayana. She is over on LinkedIn, typing in the website address. We have it there. Ms. Howard is like, I have my journal. So you've got some supporters and customers here hanging out with you. So listen, I have stolen 3 more minutes than I asked for. So I'm going to wrap it up. But I do want you to let people know, if someone is saying, you know, I need some life coaching, I need some one-on-one, what are all the ways people can work with you?
So right now you can work with me one-on-one. I am working on some other things. But right now you can work with me one-on-one, and you can get that information as well on my website, Clarissa Law Coaching.
All right. Wonderful. And my last question, the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate you.
Just simply believing in what I have to offer. Just putting myself out there and seeing how I'm received. I say to myself, like, you don't have a right to keep what you have inside of you.
Oh.
So that's you don't have a right to keep this purpose inside of you. So that's my motivation to keep me going. Like, they need me, like people need this information I have. And then, my relationship with God, and again, my affirmations, just speaking what I want.
All right. Well said. Well, it has been a pleasure to feature you here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. And we're going to just keep our eye on you and wish you much more continued success.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
You are welcome. All right. If you don't feel a boost in your confidence, I want you to go back and listen to this again or watch this again. Thank you for all those that are with us live, certainly those that are catching the replay, the podcast, the talk show version. We are glad that you took some time to spend it with us here. Again, Sharvette.com. Our main website has the full bio for today's guest and all of her links to everywhere you need to go to stay and get connected with her. And I am Sharvette Mitchell, your lovely, amazing host. Again, this segment was brought to you by the Platform Builder Program. We are open for enrollment. This is my signature copywritten 12-month program, all about increasing your marketing, your visibility, and your personal brand so that you get more customers. And so check out platformbuilder.biz for all the details. And it's going to be a wrap. Thank you again for all of our live viewers and those that are listening later on. We'll see you on the web. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.